I don't know what just happened. Anyway, yeah, dudes, Mikey Hill 44 here, and today we're gonna do some 10 weird laws and why they were passed. Yes, 10 weird laws. There he is. That's my cat. I love him so much. Anyway, there are many weird laws around the world today. The majority of them were passed centuries ago and have never been repealed, although they're not currently being enforced. Still, many of them are on the books, and plenty of people can unknowingly commit crimes for various odd reasons, though they probably won't actually get in trouble for it, of course. While these laws sound ridiculous to us today, we should know they were passed at the time for the practical reasons. From restrictions on clothing to what may be done with which animals. Here are 10 strange laws from around the world and why they were passed. Number 10. It is illegal to wear a top hat in public, the United Kingdom. On January 16th, 1797, a man named John Hetherington was apparently the first to wear a top hat in England. Nobody had seen a top hat at the time, so it was scary and controversial. According to a contemporaneous account, people came frightened, children shouted, dogs barked, and women fainted as Hetherington wore his silk hat through London. The son of one curator, Thomas, broke his arm after he was pushed to the floor by the crowd that gathered around Hetherington. Hetherington was arrested and charged with disturbing the king's peace and inciting a riot for appearing on the public highway wearing upon his head a tall structure having a shiny luster and calculated to frighten timid people. He was fined either 50 pounds or 500 pounds, depending on which source you consult. However, Hetherington insisted he had not broken any law. To prevent a repeat, the government of the day passed a law banning citizens from wearing top hats. I'm a little confused. It's a freaking top hat. Oh my god, people. It's a top hat. Seriously? Top hat dudes. Number 9. It is illegal for a moose to enter a saloon via the sidewalk. Fairbanks, Alaska. It is illegal for a moose to enter a bar through the sidewalk in Fairbanks, Alaska. The law was passed during the early 20th century because a tavern owner was fond of getting his pet moose drunk. The intoxicated moose often went on rampages, destroying properties. Oh my gosh. City officials soon had enough and passed a law banning moose from public sidewalks, thus meaning that the moose in question could no longer get into the man's saloon. The tavern owner stopped bringing his moose to his bar, but still got it drunk in his home. It is unknown why the town couldn't simply outlaw getting moose drunk. Yeah. That would have been more... I don't know. Better. Number 8. It is illegal to enter Parliament with weapons or full armor. United Kingdom. On October 30th, 1313, King Edward II of England passed the Statum de Defension Portati Arma. The law forbids MPs from entering Parliament with weapons or in full armor. The law is still upheld today and has been extended to bulletproof vests. Oh my god. King Edward II passed the law after certain individuals interrupted and disorganized several meetings he had with members of Parliament. The king guessed the people were either distruggled with the war with Scotland or other rumors that he was gay. Today, coat hangers in the cloakrooms of the British Parliament are modified to hold the swords of members of Parliament. It is unknown how many MPs currently carry swords. Meanwhile, visitors and non-parliamentaries theoretically still are allowed to bring weapons and bulletproof vests into Parliament. Theoretically, it's just a theory. Number 7. It is illegal to die within town limits, Italy, France, Spain, and Norway. Several towns in different countries have permanently or temporarily banned townspeople from dying within town limits. How are you supposed to know when you're going to die? In 2012, the mayor of Falasino del Massico, Italy, banned residents from dying within town limits. The mayor issued the ban after the local cemetery became full. He said people would only be allowed to die after a new cemetery had been built. At least 2 people died while the law was in force. The town of Bordeaux, France also issued a similar ban after the local cemetery reached capacity, and the court stopped the town from extending the cemetery. The mayor mentioned that only people with burial plots at the cemetery were allowed to die, and promised several severe punishment for defaulters. The town of La Gironde, Spain, also banned people from dying within town limits for the same reason. The mayor ordered the townspeople pay attention to their health and suspended their deaths until the town acquired new land for a cemetery. One town with permanent ban on death is Longyearbyen, Norway, which has banned residents from dying since 1950. The town is considered the world's northernmost city, as in having more than 1,000 residents, and is covered in permafrost. The ban was issued after residents discovered that the dead simply froze in the cemetery instead of decaying. This meant dangerous pathogens could survive in the cadavers and possibly reinfect the living. Old and sick people are usually transported off the island to live their last days. Number 6. It is illegal to use cell phones in banks. Argentina, Brazil, and the Philippines. The governments of Rio de Janeiro, Argentina, and the Philippines have passed laws banning customers from using cell phones inside banks. The bans were attempted to reduce bank robberies. What? Criminals would sometimes enter banks and monitor customers withdrawing money and leaving the bank. Once a target was spotted, the robber would use his cell phone to instruct other gang members outside the bank to rob the client. These sort of robberies had been reduced by 23% in Rio de Janeiro 2 years after bank customers were banned from using cell phones and radio transmitters. They were reduced by 20% in Argentina. However, some skeptics doubt the efficiency of the ban since most bank robbers trail their customer and rob them outside the bank. Number 5. It is illegal to use cell phones and many other devices. Greenbank, West Virginia. It is illegal to use cell phones, Wi-Fi radios, or microwaves in the small town of Greenbank, Virginia. This is because the town contains the world's largest fully steerable radio telescope, which is operated by the National Radio Astronomy Observatory, or the NRAO. The NRAO telescope receives radio signals from faraway stars and galaxies. The signals are often very weak, and nearby radio signals would interfere with its operation. So in 1958, Congress passed a law banning radio devices around the observatory. The law declared a 1 or 10-mile radius around the observatory to be radio device free. The law also mandated that radio wave devices be regulated within a larger 33,700 square kilometers, or 13,000 miles, zone that extends into neighboring Pennsylvania and Virginia. I don't know why I just did that. It was illegal for women to drive Saudi Arabia. Women were not allowed to drive in Saudi Arabia until 2018, just last year. To be clear, Saudi Arabia never explicitly formally banned women from driving. However, it did not permit women to drive or get licensed either. Women who dared to drive were arrested and fined. Women were not allowed to drive because Saudi Arabia follows the strict Wahhabism version of Islamic law. Wahhabism demands that women cover themselves and be kept separate from men. It also requires every woman to have a male guardian. But it just said here, Wahhabism demands that women cover themselves and be kept separate from men, but it also requires every women have a male guardian. Does that make any sense to you? You don't want them to be near women or men, but they must have a male guardian. I don't get it. It was illegal to eat swans in the United Kingdom. It is illegal to keep or kill mute swans, which are the stereotypical swans most people envision in the UK. The ban was issued under the 1981 Wildlife and Countryside Act, which was passed to protect native animals. However, an earlier law had banned British citizens from eating swans. The law was repealed in 1998. Unlike the 1981 Act, which is concerned with controversy, the older law was concerned with reserving the swans for the aristocrats. European nobility developed a taste for swans in the 12th century, and it soon spread to England, where it became a symbol of riches and nobility and was frequently served at royal feasts. Number 2, it is illegal to freely serve ketchup in schools. France. In 2011, France passed a law mandating that sauces such as ketchup, mayonnaise, and so on must not be freely accessible to students, but served according to various dishes. So a portion of ketchup can be served with, say, French fries, but students can't just slather whatever they want with as much ketchup as they want. This sauce mandate was meant to improve the overall dietary quality of meals. Various news outlets reported this as France banning ketchup in schools altogether. While some did report that the ban was for health reasons, there were also claims that the French government outlawed ketchup in order to promote French dishes and culture. French fries were not made in France. They were cooked in Greece. And number 1. These gamer fans ain't gonna like this, especially if they live in South Korea. It is illegal to play online games between midnight and 6 a.m. South Korea. In 2011, the South Korean government passed a shutdown law, also called the Cinderella Act, to curb excessive gaming among teenagers. The law requires that teenagers below the age of 16 to be shut out of online game servers between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m. However, they can continue to play offline games on their personal consoles, phones, tablets, and laptops. Game players above 16 are required to access game servers using their social security numbers. The ban was later amended so that teenagers below 16 could play online games past midnight with their parents' permission. Well, we have run out of time for this video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. If you didn't, well, leave a comment down below telling me why you didn't like my video. And don't leave a mean comment. That's cyberbullying, and I will find you. I will report you for spam. I'm just kidding. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace. Yeah.